number.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Hello.
In the neighborhood. Hey, Kevin. Well, we are back after a long hiatus. I don't even know how long it has been, but I do know that since season 2 wrapped, there's been a lot of changes in all of our lives, things that have prevented us from being able to start this sooner. But for better or for worse, we are ready to get back into it with new format, new style, and just wanted to talk some movies and whatever else may come. Um, you guys want anything you want to say or open with or start?
I'm just happy to be back.
I have missed you fellas.
Yeah, I didn't realize, how this helped us stay connected. Because once it stopped, we kind of didn't really talk as much as we used to.
Yep. I mean, we definitely stayed connected, but yeah, I mean, I'm just not a very like pick up the phone, and call someone to like talk for half an hour. I feel guilty about it sometimes, but
Nah, not many guys are.
I don't know.
At least I know I'm not.
Some are, but I know we've added another baby in our home, so we're at 3. Mark's added another baby, so he's at 2. Kevin's
I'm still at 5.
babies are, but now you have a high school teen in your
A
group,
high schooler.
so that's a big change.
Yeah, I got some medical issues. We got a whole bunch of different changes.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So yeah. So there's definitely been a lot going on, a lot of good and a lot of, challenging as is life. But here we are, season 3. I'm calling this episode half or point 0.5. I wasn't sure what was best. If it was
I
like a
like
point
that.
0.5 or like or like I thought about a 1A. Or something like that. But I like the half, the
Yeah,
0.5.
yeah,
I know Kevin was a big fan of the
I
decimals.
am.
yeah.
I love me the Dewey Decimal
He's
System.
at a 10th right now. Oh man, I feel like that'll look good, and new season, new changes, right?
Yeah. So what? Well, one of my things like going into it was, um, I think I was just thinking. I've been thinking like I just want to make the podcast that I want to make.
Hmm.
Before I think we were trying to, obviously maybe become monetized someday or whatever. So it's like you can't obviously can't play music and can't do this, but now it's like I don't care. I'm gonna play any intro music that I want, and I just want to make it the way that I want, that we want it to be, and the way that we want to make it. So,
Yeah,
so that's part of the perspective and the approach going into it. And then so I don't know what the ratings will look like. Um, I'm mostly excited just to talk about the movies and hear our opinions on it. But this one change, which is what this episode will be all about, is actually a preview of the movie that we're going to be reviewing. Hence the half an episode. I don't expect this to be as long as our reviews might be. But what I really like about this idea is that it gives whoever's listening to this episode the opportunity, if they haven't seen the movie, to then go and watch the movie because we're going to tell you where you can watch it, and then you can listen to the review when it comes out and be more informed and
hmm
see if you agree with us or if you disagree with us or anything like that. And I feel like that makes for a fun little listening experience. So that's one thing I like about it, as well as it allows us the opportunity to record an additional episode without having to have watched an entire movie, which is time consuming.
Mhm. Well,
But yeah,
just so our listeners know, you have been actively trying to figure out a way that we can engage with our listeners. So you're always working, making sure that we're open to the people and ready to debate with the people. So I think this is gonna put us in the right track, buddy.
if they
If they
dare,
if
if
they
they
join us
dare,
on this journey,
yeah, if they join us on this
Fair
journey.
enough.
So anyway, yeah, we'll probably still continue to rotate the movie choices and movie selections, and so just for this initial episode, again in this brand new season of We Like Movies, um, I have selected the movie The Peanut Butter Falcon, and so what we have done is that sounded like a falcon choking on peanut butter, so
I,
that was
I
good.
worked on
Yeah,
that. I worked on it.
the
that's
Falcon
good.
was choking on peanut butter.
Yeah. I don't think that has anything to do with the movie, but um, yeah, I picked it. This movie, um, I lost my train of thought, but
Screech.
uh, it was something that it was a movie that I've been aware of actually probably one of our biggest fans, who is my good friend from high school, Jason Lopez.
J Lo.
He watched this movie. We discuss movies, and he listens to the podcast, and he'll comment on it, and we'll text back and forth about that. But he was like, "Hey, you should watch this movie," and so now I am doing that after months. But so what we've gone and done is watched the trailer, each of us, because none of us have seen this movie.
Mhm.
And what we want to discuss here is just expectations. You know, what was um, our reaction to the trailer, and you know, like, do we think, you know, do each of us think that we're going to enjoy this movie or not? And and maybe I'll have some other questions based off of some other notes just to build up the anticipation to that
Mm.
moment. But Mark, why don't we start with you? I know you saw the trailer right before this recording, and
Yeah.
so did you know anything about this movie before it was selected?
Oh yeah, of course. I think this is the movie that brought Shia LaBeouf back to the limelight. I'm pretty sure he had a down moment before this movie, and yeah, so I knew about it, and I had zero interest in it because I heard what it was about, and I'm not. I like fantasy movies. I like things that aren't real life. So I feel like this is one of those movies that's just it's a feel good story. So I
Yeah.
completely avoided it, and after watching the trailer, I was like, "Yep, that's exactly what this is gonna be. It's gonna be a feel good story, and I'm gonna feel good, but it will absolutely be a one and done. I will probably watch this once and never again, even if it's the best movie I've ever seen, because I am not, and I want to lose myself in a movie, and I can't lose myself when I know across the street here, there's probably two guys that are going on an adventure, and yeah, but I didn't, and I also didn't like the title. I have much more respect for it now that I've seen the trailer, but I thought like Peanut Butter Falcon was just going to be some kooky term he came up with, like, as I don't know, as he's dealing with the disability. I don't know. I just wrote this movie off so hard. But at the end of the trailer that I saw, because I know we probably saw different trailers. The one that I saw, it ends with him, figuring out his wrestling name, and they're wiping peanut butter on his face, and he's like, "I'm Falcon," and then the peanut butter Falcon. I went, "Oh, okay, all right." That's a little bit better than what I thought this was going to be. So I'm probably going to end up enjoying it for what it is. But again, I know for a fact this will be a one and done just because, there's no magical worlds that's behind it.
Yeah, like if this was happening in Tatooine, then you'd be happy.
There was elf ears on one of them, I'd be like, okay, I can deal with this. Or if he actually was a falcon and he discovered peanut butter, then yeah, I would be way into this. But yeah, man, it's too real. It hits too close to home, and we got enough going on at home, so I want to lose myself some other way.
I mean, think about it, it kind of resembles the plot of Mandalorian, you know?
Maybe, because remember, Mando want to get rid of.
It's two buds on an adventure.
They both have a falcon
Yeah,
in it.
yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. But one has no peanut butter. I know that for a fact.
Well, listen, I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's very true to who you are. I wouldn't have expected anything different
Thank
from
you.
you. So,
Thank
yeah, I
you.
think that's a very fair assessment. But who knows? I mean, the beauty of this episode is that you could be totally surprised. Maybe they didn't show us any of the sci-fi in the movie. There could be twists and
True.
turns.
Yeah, you're right.
Goblins.
So
It would be nice to come back and hear all this afterwards. So that's why I'm
yeah.
kind of excited about this, because I'm like, bro, I was dead wrong. I thought I was never gonna watch it. I've watched it 7 times, dude. I can't stop watching it.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, what do
All
you
right,
got?
so just lay out all my cards on the table. When Juan suggested this movie, I thought it was the movie that Shia LaBeouf did about his own upbringing, but that's Honey Boy apparently. So I was like, all right, I guess we'll watch this.
Yeah.
So when I clicked it on, I was like, oh no, this is not that movie. Then it started off.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh yeah, there's Honey Boy, which is supposed to be a really good movie. But then they showed a wrestler. He's like, I want to go to wrestling. So I'm like, oh, I'm all in because I love me some wrestling. I was like, this is I'm the opposite of Mark. This is my cup of tea here. And yeah, and then I even when I was watching it, the little blurb said it's a modern retelling of like Huckleberry Finn, and that got me more into it. And yeah, like I like feel good movies. I feel for some reason though that someone's dying at the end, and it's not going to be feel goody movie. So I feel like this is like because it says South by Southwest, and I feel it's like a good feel good movie, and like $1 Million Baby, it's gonna gut punch you at the end, and you're gonna be like, no.
Spoiler alert.
Listen, man, that movie came out 14 years ago. All right.
Spoiler alert: he's got a peanut allergy. He dies.
But yeah. But we will see if this goes up there with
a big mistake.
with the classic Falcons of cinematic lore, like the Maltese and the Millennium, and that's it.
Yeah. There's more than that, I'm sure, but
there's Captain also.
Captain Falcon. Yeah, I figured you would love the wrestling angle. So and yeah, the Huckberry Finn is I think also very intriguing. Kevin, I made a note specifically for you of something that I think you will appreciate and might excite you even more.
Let's go.
I have not been able to verify this for sure, but on the Wikipedia page, in the list of the cast, there is a character portrayed by one Mr. Mick Foley.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
I like a good man fight, so
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Now you have me wondering if there's other people
again.
besides just him in it. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, there might
probably.
be. Yeah. I do want to comment because Mark has said that this was, probably Shia LaBeouf's kind of comeback role, and it is in that season. Because I think this came out right after Honey Boy, but I think Honey Boy was actually the one that kind of really got him going.
Okay.
Which if you guys haven't seen it, I have seen it. Honey Boy is excellent. He plays his dad in the movie, and a child plays him. And it's biographical about what it was like for him, like being he like him and his dad lived in a motel, and he was going to like to studios in LA to film his show for the Disney Channel. So it's really good.
Wow.
And so I will piggyback off of that by just saying that the thing that intrigues me the most about the movie is Shia LaBeouf. Um, I've been a fan of his. Like I was like somewhat of a fan of his back on when he was on the Disney Channel. I think it was
Mhm.
Even Stevens
Yes,
was the show.
Even Stevens.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like he was really really funny on that show, and you could see like he just had really great comedic timing and like just a sense for it. So he was like really good. And then Transformers, and like he blew up, and like he made choices that are expected of a young person. Um, like Disturbia is a movie I remember watching him in, and there was others around that
Yeah.
time,
And the
and
Great
Yeah.
those
Holes.
probably. Yeah. Oh, Holes. I've never seen
Oof,
it, but I've heard so many
Same.
good things
oof.
about it.
Same.
Boys, you gotta watch it,
Um,
man. So,
so yeah, he was hot. He had his 15 minutes, and then obviously had a lot of issues, with substances and just being in the limelight. Um, and then had like crazy random appearances, getting into fights and shooting amazing motivational videos.
Yeah.
Um, it appeared in music videos. Like I think he's in the video for Chandelier by Sia, and then yeah, then really hit rock bottom, which was, I guess allegations came out, or like an ex or something accused him of like sleeping around with women and like purposefully giving them STDs or something like that. Also, I think being abusive to women.
Yeah.
So that was definitely rock bottom. Probably everybody moved on from Shia LaBeouf, even before that. But since then, extremely fascinating person, having gone through AA, going on podcasts, talking about his road to sobriety, and even beyond that, his road to faith,
Yeah. I was
into
going to mention that.
Catholicism. Yeah, which I think is where he ended up landing in Catholicism, but just in faith, and I think he had a movie that came out actually about a priest or a monk or something like that,
Padre Pio.
which also
Yeah.
looked pretty intriguing. But yeah, that one. But just a really fascinating guy, and I'm a yeah, just a fan of his and his arc for so many reasons. So for me, that's the most intriguing thing. But um, yeah, I agree that the movie definitely it hits all, or the trailer rather, excuse me, it hits all the feel good feels. They really lay it on thick in the trailer with the music and everything. Um, so there's gonna be like emotional gut punches. And I think when I was younger, I was a lot. This appealed to me a lot more. This year I'm turning 40, so I'm a lot more cynical now, for better or for worse. So I
Awesome.
don't expect. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope that this movie will like elevate me emotionally, and that it will feel good. And hey, I'm open to even shedding a tear or two, whether it's by someone dying, or by a heroic pile drive right into the mat. At the climax of the movie, whatever it may be, I'm open to it. I like Dakota Johnson as well. This movie also has Thomas Hayden Church, who I know Kevin is a
He's
fan of.
good.
Um, if you've, yeah, he is good. Mark, you ever seen the movie Sideways?
Yes. Yeah. I watched it when I was
Yeah,
too
great
young, so
movie.
I didn't understand it.
And also,
So I would like to
So
watch it again now that I understand more
yeah,
things in life. felt too adult.
Now that you've lived a little.
No, seriously, it felt like such an adult movie. Like, not
It's
that it was
true,
X
yeah.
rated, but it's like they
Yeah.
were talking about adult things, and I was just like, dude, I don't drink
Yeah.
wine, so I don't know even what's happening. But now I drink wine. Your boy
Yeah.
been in Italy and got drunk on some wine, so I'm ready. I'm all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's exactly right. You have to live a little to really appreciate some movies, I think is the point there.
Yeah, I agree.
John Bernthal is also in this movie.
I
I'm a
saw The
big fan of
Punisher.
his.
Yeah.
And yeah. And Bruce Dern also making an appearance. Movie is written and directed by Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz. I don't know who they are, and on Wikipedia, their names are not even hyperlinks. So I don't think they've
Sick.
done anything else in life. This is it. It doesn't hyperlink to anything else for either of them.
Hey man, you exit
So
when you're
we'll
on
see what
top,
they were
right?
able to deliver. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I would like to be surprised. I would like for what we saw in the trailer to not be all that there is. But it may just be. I do love the setting of the movie, particularly in reference to like Huck Finn and that idea. I
Yeah.
love that it's like shot on the bayou and they're floating down this river, and I really like the setting of the movie. So um, yeah, I hope that it's going to be good. Because I always want my picks to be good, and I'm really disappointed
Of
when they're
course.
not.
Yeah.
But I'm not
I will
expecting like
say,
yeah.
sorry, good.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just say,
No,
because of Kevin's love of wrestling, I've actually been to a wrestling show like that, like the one they show in here. Not that, like not WWE, not AEW, like not the big names, just like
yeah,
some homegrown, and it was
yeah,
actually enjoyable, even though it's all fake. But watching it, it's just like, oh, this is they're putting their heart and soul to this. I can dig with this, and
yeah,
then you lose yourself in violence. It's like, oh, they're just beating the crap out of each other. I could definitely roll with this.
yeah. Well, and I will say, thanks to Kevin's love of wrestling, I have been to I think it was a Monday Night Raw that we went to
Yes.
one
Ah,
time.
nice.
And I just remember, we were up in our nosebleeds and still feeling the flames from each corner buckle shooting up when
Yeah.
Kane made an appearance. So that's my recollection of that. But yeah, that wouldn't have happened without your love of wrestling.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
You're welcome, boys. Get some culture in you.
But one final thing here, because I recently found this out, and I was surprised I didn't know this, but do you guys know who Dakota Johnson's father is?
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
Miami Vice man. What's his name?
Miami Vice.
Don
Don
Johnson. That's his
Johnson.
name. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I only knew
But
about that when 50 Shades of Grey came out, because everyone always like, oh, well, your parents are going to watch that movie. And I was like, man, that's such a terrible thing to say. Like, who cares? She's not making a movie for her parents. And then I looked up who her parents were, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're definitely not going to care.
Juan, you know who her mom is?
yeah. Yeah, isn't it?
No,
Or I did hear it, but I don't remember now. But at the time, it's not like Melanie
yeah, it
Griffin,
is.
right?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Melanie Griffin. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a while, Antonio Banderas was her stepdad. Oh, that's some
Interesting.
pedigree right there.
Puss in Boots
Yeah.
himself.
Thought we were saying something different. Like, hold on.
But it's just wild. As I was thinking about that, I was just like, you know, celebrities who are usually the ones that are like super outspoken about a bunch of issues. I'm sure they've caused uproars previously about like nepotism, and
Mhm.
yet the amount of nepotism in Hollywood is wild.
Staggering.
Yeah, and like it's such an obvious advantage because even though you still have to have talent, your name or your connection is still at least going to get you a foot in the door,
Hmm.
you know. So it's just crazy. Were you gonna say something, Kevin?
No, I was to say, Freddie Prinze Jr. talked about that because he has a wrestling podcast I listen to, and he's like, yeah, he goes, of course, he's not going to pretend that people didn't know his dad, and because his dad was a famous comedian, and that got people to actually, give
Yeah.
him a look. But he goes, but of course, he at the end of the day, he did have to earn the part because they weren't going to just give it to him because of who his dad was. They're like, all right, yeah, you actually can do this part, so we'll hire you for it. And for other jobs, they told them, well, we
Yeah.
don't want you. You're no good.
Dude, Freddie Prinze Jr. has a podcast about wrestling.
Yes, with the comedian
Who would have thunk?
Jeff Dye. It's called Wrestling with Friends or Wrestling with Freddie. I forget what it is.
I know Jeff
Dude,
Dye.
he,
Dude,
Oh my gosh,
the
wrestling with Freddie's
by the way,
amazing.
Freddie Prinze Jr. He worked for WWE for like a year or two, like writing.
really,
He's a huge wrestling fan.
Wow. Would have
And so
never
is one of
guessed.
his close friends, Macaulay Culkin.
there's a lot of people.
I think I knew that. Maybe.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
So sorry, interrupted you, Juan. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. No, it's just a lot of people that like still are so big into wrestling. A lot. And
Mhm.
I'm not against. I have nothing negative to say about it. It's just I feel like it was the height. I don't know. The popularity of wrestling is always so elusive because I feel like it still is popular, but it's just not mainstream, you know. So it's
Yeah.
hard if you're not into it. It's always hard to grasp, you know, because you could tell me that wrestling is not popular at all anymore, or you could tell me it's more popular than it's ever been, and I'll believe you either way because I just don't know. I just know it's still around. Like I know Vince McMahon just had a documentary come out that I'm kind of intrigued about, and things like that. But yeah, I mean it still seems popular, but it's not in the as far as culture and pop culture and you know you don't hear about it as much unless you're intentionally seeking it out. I feel like.
Because I know it has ebbs and flows. Like it goes up and down. And right now, I think it's on an upward trajectory because a lot more people are into it. But there's times when it was low.
Yeah.
I went to go play, I think, poker with Marc once, and I was wearing a Bullet Club jacket. And like people would just come up and they're like,
Yeah.
"Too sweet, brother." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" I'm like, they just be shouting stuff out. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It happens all the time when you wear this jacket because that little like subculture people like they'll love you if they see you and you love wrestling."
Yeah. I
Oh,
recall that you were always getting shout out by random people when you wear them. I'm just looking at you like, bro, you're like a mini
And you
celebrity
just give
here.
them daps. So you're just like, "What's up? Yeah, brother." And I'm like, "All right, let's keep going."
That's so true. That
uh,
is so true.
and I know we're pressed for time, but the last thing I want to say, the last thing I really want to say is, so I recently listened to the Joe Rogan podcast where he had Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery on,
Hmm.
and they talked a lot about the main thing that they talked about was their podcast. Um, and Quentin Tarantino came out and he said, he's like, I've listened to like other film podcasts, and the reality is that like for most of them, like their movie knowledge is like abysmal.
Yeah.
And I felt personally attacked in that
Yeah.
moment. Um, and for a second I was like, oh gosh, yeah, I never want to do a movie podcast again because I know nothing, especially compared to Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
But then I came back to reality and remembered, for anyone listening, that's not our goal here. We're not trying to impress anyone with our vast movie knowledge or anything like that. And if that's what you're looking for, you'll be disappointed. But hopefully, if anyone's listening or anyone's seeking out our podcast, it's because they just enjoy listening to the three of us talking about the things that we talk about. So we don't have to
Hello.
be uh, the Quentin
I lost him
Tarantino
too.
podcast. I can't remember what it's called now.
We lost you for a second there.
Off the top of my head, but did you?
Yeah, but you're back now.
Well, I'm sure it was recorded. I hope so. It was insightful and it was feel good. So
That's what I like to hear.
listen back. You'll have to listen back to it to catch it. But anyway, any parting words, gents?
No, I agree with you. We're just a couple of dads talking about a hobby and secretly using it as a way to get to talk to each other more.
Exactly. And I will say, Juan, since you mentioned Quentin Tarantino, today I was cleaning up a little area. I found my copy of Cinema Speculation that I haven't finished yet, and I plan to finish that book. It's a book by Quentin Tarantino about movies.
Nice. Getting that knowledge up.
Yeah, we got to study.
But I want to see Quentin
Quentin
Tarantino talk about like elves and fantasy, and all right, Marc got some beat.
Dude, that guy can talk about everything, bro. I'm sure he has a profoundly analytical take on the Sonic the Hedgehog movies.
Oh, I just saw Sonic 3, boys. I got to watch the Sonic movies.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about jumping in.
Do yourselves a favor and watch the Sonic movies. Juan, you watch yourself. Both of y'all watch Holes and all 3 Sonic movies. That's all you got to do.
That's it, huh?
Well, and that brings up a good point actually, which is another change that I want to, eventually people might catch on, but I do want to say is that the other change is that, again, making the podcast that we want to make and everyone else be damned. But any movie is up for grabs now. So no longer, we've removed the stipulation where it has to be a movie that none of us have seen. Now it can be anything. It can be a movie you've watched 50 times and you just want to record us talking about it for the 51st time. So any movie is a go. No holds barred. It's a cage match.
Let's go, baby.
Kevin.
Excellent.
Hell in a cell. All right, boys. So from this point on, we have 7 days to watch the movie, and then we will reconvene after we've watched the Peanut Butter Falcon.
It's like the opposite. Okay. It's reverse the ring.
All right, boys.
All right. Well, God bless you guys.
Live your lives, baby.
Love you.
Live your lives.